Hey, my lovely Serene Dream here with another reading, and I'm going to be starting something new called Taboo Love Chronicles, and it's going to be a series of readings that are going to focus on taboo relationships. So it will be like, any scandalous relationships. It could be scandalous relationships that are between historical figures, current pop figures, or just pretty much anybody. So make sure you go ahead and send in your request for any relationships or and it doesn't have to be like confirmed relationships. It could be like heavy rumors that floated around for years between people, and it's been rumored so much to the point that it's sort of pretty much believed it to be a fact. So yeah, go ahead and send in those requests for any taboo relationships you'd like me to cover. The first one I'm going to cover today is going to be the quote unquote love triangle between Marilyn Monroe, John F. Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy. And I decided to cover this. I came up with this whole series because Marilyn Monroe has been in the news a lot, with her documentary, like the most recent documentary that's been released on Netflix. Kim Kardashian wearing her iconic dress for the John F. Kennedy birthday celebration. Uh, her collecting her hair, very creepy. Um, yeah, and with all of that, it was just like it just kind of felt like I'm supposed to do this. So that's why we're here. So I hope you all enjoy it. Before we get into the reading, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. If you would like to check out your monthly zodiac readings or your general forecast for the rest of the year or your love forecast for the rest of the year, go ahead and click on the Vimeo links in the description box to view those. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, the link to that information is found below in the description box as well. Follow me on Instagram at Serene Dream Things for daily guidance. And let's go ahead and get started. We're going to begin with John F. Kennedy's energy toward Marilyn. Okay, the first thing I'm hearing is addicted to her. So I do feel like he had an addiction to her. It's like he craved her all the time. I feel like he was constantly like reaching out to her, constantly wanting to see her. I'm hearing constantly wanting a piece of her. I'm also hearing morning, noon, and night. So, although he was married and although he had other side affairs, I feel like she was the person who he craved the most. Um, Possibly even when he was with other women, including his wife. I feel that it was deeper than sex, though. What I'm getting is that he felt that he saw through her, like saw through to her soul. He could have felt like, yeah, he could have felt like he saw something in her that no one else did, or he knew something about her that no one else did. Not in a way to like blackmail her, but he just felt that he tapped into a part of her that she didn't show anyone else. And I feel that this built a deeper bond between the two of them that I feel like no one knew. I do feel like this was something that was kept between them. I do feel I'm not in her energy yet in regards to him, but I do feel like she may have shared their bond or their closeness. She may have shared some details about their relationship with other people, but I don't feel like he ever spoke about it. I feel like he kept like how he truly felt about her to himself. I feel like she spilled a little bit, but even then, I feel like she didn't spill everything. She kept some details to herself. I feel like he was very miserable in his. I'm hearing with the image. He was very miserable with this image that he had to keep up as, I think first senator and then president. I don't feel like she got involved with him uh, as I feel like she got involved with him initially before his presidency. I feel like they had known each other for a while before he became president. So it's like, I feel like by the time he became president, he had already started to develop like a love for her. Like he had already developed a love for her. He already loved her, I'm hearing. And I felt that by the time he became president, he was having a hard time keeping up this happy family man image that he had to portray for his presidency. I feel like every time he was alone with his wife and his children, like he was just miserable and couldn't wait to escape. It's like I feel like the moments that they spent as a family alone away from the cameras were far and few in between. I feel like he only really hung around his family when the cameras were around or when it was necessary for some sort of appearance. But I feel like any time that they had any kind of quieter downtime where they didn't have to make any appearances, he was ghost from his family. And I do feel that a lot of those times he was spending with Marilyn. Um, I'm getting that he didn't want the relationship to change though. He wanted him and Marilyn to keep up the relationship as it was, which is, being a side affair and not being like an official public thing. I feel that that may have been a problem for her though. I feel like they argued over that. They had like that was a point of contention in their relationship, is the fact that he wanted everything to stay the same, them to have like this secret love affair continuing on, and she was like, "No, I want more." I'm hearing again, I'm not in her energy, but she's coming through. It's like I'm getting this. It's like I'm hearing her say to him, like, "If you love me, we could be together. Like I could be your wife. We could have a family." And he's like, "No, Marilyn, you don't understand." Because for him, image was everything. I'm also hearing please his father. So for him, this image was everything because he always wanted to please his father. And he felt that if he were to mess up his image by marrying Marilyn, that it would have disgraced his family, because I feel like that's the way his father trained him, is to be all about image, all about appearance. And although this is where his heart was with her, it wasn't worth him sullying his image in the public eye. So yeah, he wanted things to remain the same and them have this private love affair. And they love on each other in private. But I am getting that he did love her. He felt like they had a lot in common. Again, I'm getting this message like he felt like he really knew her. Like he felt as if he knew a part of her or parts of her that other people didn't. So the way that she was portrayed to the public is like he was introduced to another side of her. And I'm also hearing friendship. So I feel like within this affair that they were having, they had like a really solid friendship. I'm seeing images of like them laughing, talking. It wasn't just like they were hooking up and just having sex all the time. Of course they would do that, but I'm seeing images of them like spending time together, like old friends, laughing, joking. I'm getting like eating popcorn. So that could have been something they did a lot in past time, popcorn and movies. Uh yeah, I'm getting a lot of laughing. I feel like they were hilarious together. They probably had the same sense of humor. They had a lot of inside jokes. And I feel that all of this contributed to him falling in love with her and her with him. But again, I don't want to touch on her energy too much because I want to read her energy separately from his. But yeah, I'm getting that all of this contributed to him falling in love with her because she was a friend. She was a great lover to him. They had known each other for years. he felt as if he can trust her to a certain level as well. They had this bond that I feel like it was a bond that was really private, like really, they were really tight. But again, they didn't share this with anybody. I don't feel like they were going around saying, like, that I feel so bonded to her. Like, I don't feel like it was anything like any kind of conversation like that going on outside of the two of them. When they were together, they would talk about like how amazing they feel together, how they feel like they've known each other for lifetimes, things of that nature. They definitely don't feel that this is the first time they've met up. They feel like I feel like they had conversations about feeling like they had known each other in previous lifetimes and they were like catching up in this one. I'm hearing wrong time. So yeah, when they would have those conversations or arguments rather about whether or not to take this relationship to the next level, what they would settle on is that, right person, wrong time. They would talk about hypothetically what their life would be like if they had met at a better time in their lives, like before, he found his spouse, before he decided to pursue this presidency, or this political career overall. Yeah, and I feel like I'm hearing that it's like I'm seeing and hearing images of them having conversations, like literally talking about the life that they would, like their life in an alternate reality. Like if he never had the political ambitions that he did and she wasn't who she was, what their life would be like. And I'm hearing like 2 kids, white picket fence, 5-bedroom house, a dog, a white dog, very green grass. I feel like they had a dream of having like a very American suburban life together. And yeah, they would sit around and fantasize about that. And they know that it wouldn't become reality because of who they were, but it was nice to imagine. I feel like well, this is his energy. On his end, they had really great sex. To him, she was very satisfying sexually. It almost felt like he was making love to an otherworldly being whenever he was with her. It didn't feel like sex that he would have with anybody else. Sex with her would feel otherworldly. He would feel that she had an energy about her and in her that wasn't of this world. And it wasn't just I'm it's like I'm being urged to say, make sure that or just emphasize that it wasn't because she was Marilyn Monroe. It wasn't because of the Hollywood image that she had and the fact that she was desired by many. It wasn't had nothing to do with that. What he felt for her and what he experienced with her had everything to do with his personal experience with her. So how she felt to him, how they were sexually together, this was just pure raw connection. I'm also getting that he would masturbate to the thought of her whenever he was apart from her. I'm hearing the best sex he's ever had. She was by far the best sex he had ever had in his life. I'm hearing bar none. I'm also getting this energy that he might have warned her about some people that were around her that were not so good. Maybe that was out to use her for money, or I'm getting like pimp her. Like I feel like he was warning her about someone that was working for her or like around in her circle who he felt was pimping her, like maybe taking like what I mean by pimping her is like I'm getting like money wise, like maybe they would take a bigger percentage than was fair. But I feel like Marilyn may have trusted this person's word that that's the way it's supposed to work or something. And I feel like John was, I feel like he was warning her about someone in particular and saying, you shouldn't be paying them that much. You shouldn't be taking that much of a percentage of your profits. Like, that's your money. You're entitled to more. I feel like there is some money that she was owed that he was trying to tell her that she's owed. And she didn't know. I'm also getting that he was the one. I don't know about this story, but I'm picking up that she was fighting for some money that was owed to her. Someone had finessed her out of some serious money for maybe a project, some work, an investment. And at first, she thought it was normal because she didn't know I feel like she didn't know the business side of the industry as well as she should have known it. So she was cheated. I feel like John pointed this out to her, and I feel like he encouraged her to fight for what was owed to her. So I feel like she could have been, if she didn't actively pursue a legal battle to get some money that was owed to her, I feel like she was in the process of getting, maybe before she died sometime, she was trying to get that going, like maybe pursue a civil case to uh, win back some money that she became aware was owed to her. At the end of the day, he chose his image. He couldn't risk it for what his heart felt. And I feel that his desire to have this particular image was greater than his desire to be with Marilyn. So he sacrificed, he made a conscious decision to sacrifice his heart for his image. And I do feel that he enjoyed the spotlight. He enjoyed the attention that came along with his political career. And it's like whenever he would be in those moments where he was center stage, he was being celebrated, he was being talked about, he would have this energy of like it was all worth it. Like he would choose this again and again and again. So yeah, he had this love for her, but like his career meant more to him, and I don't feel that he regretted that decision at all. Okay, so now we're going to move into Robert Kennedy's energy toward Marilyn and see how he felt about her. I'm getting that he had a different energy toward her than his brother. I do feel that he was all mushy toward her as well, and I'm getting like he had a softer energy toward her, almost to the point that she feels stronger than him. I don't want to call him a wimp, but I get the sort of the energy I'm picking up from him. He felt like a wimp in comparison to his brother. And in some ways, she liked it because it made her feel more powerful. Because I feel that in her relationship with John, they felt more like equals. And with Robert, she felt that she had the control, that she was the one with the power in that relationship because he was such a wimp. He was so, uh, it's like he would do anything for her. It's like he would melt over her. But I get like his adoration, it really was adoration. I feel like his feelings for her were born more out of the image of who she was and not really learn like he fell in love with Marilyn Monroe. If I was just to put it simply, if I were just to compare the two, John F. Kennedy fell in love with Norma Jean and Robert Kennedy fell in love with Marilyn Monroe. So one person fell in love with the character, the image, and the other person fell in love with the real person. And I feel like Robert was the one who fell in love with the image, the character, Marilyn Monroe. And it's like every time he was with her, it's almost like he couldn't believe that he was with the Marilyn Monroe. Kind of like a groupie. I guess that would be the better way to describe him. He kind of feels like a groupie. And I do feel that he fed her a lot of fairy tales of like, I'll take care of you. I do feel like he may have done things to take care of her, at least financially. Like if she was ever in a bind or needed anything, I feel like he always came through for her. And I feel like he would constantly tell her that, like, I'm here for you, whatever you need. I'm here to provide it. Just ask, say the word, I'll be there. I also get that their as their relationship started to be rumored more, like when it got more widespread in the rumor mill that they were involved, I get that he liked it. He enjoyed the fact that people were tying him to her. He wanted their relationship to be known because I'm hearing that it made him feel like the man. It made him feel like the man that he was able to bag Marilyn Monroe. And yeah, it I don't know if he really was able to pull a chick that was. He may have had like low self esteem, or he may have had. He may have been the kind of guy who wasn't able to get like the popular girl in school or something like that. So he had this complex about himself that when he did gain this political power, that he was going to use it to kind of get all the attention that he didn't get when he was younger, or he didn't get when he was a nobody, or not really nobody because he came from the Kennedy family, but you know, when he was just known as, were not really as known as he was in that time. So when he bagged Marilyn, it was like it made up for every rejection he ever experienced in his younger years. And he wanted it to be the relationship to be known without just putting it out there himself. Although I do feel that he talked about the relationship with some people, he bragged about it a little bit, unlike John. And I feel that he wanted it to be known because it boosted his ego, and it made him look like the man in other people's eyes, a way that he didn't look before, you know. So it gave him like this cred that he was not used to. And so yeah, he wanted their affair to be known. But of course, not in the way where he's just going around like broadcasting it to the world. But I feel like he would like put the rumor out a little bit. Like he would tell a person that he knows has a big mouth to help spread it, you know. And I don't feel like he put any restrictions on her, or at least not as much restrictions on her as maybe John did with, you know, their relationship getting out there. So he allowed her to talk a little bit about them because, again, he wanted people to know, because he wanted to look like the man. And he feels by far that if any woman that he could have had, or all the women that he had in that time, she was by far the hottest woman he had ever had. I feel like he has some, I'm hearing bombshells. So I do feel that he had his share of bombshells in his day. But in his eyes, she was the baddest. I just get this energy like with him, their relationship was really all about him, boosting his ego, making him feel a certain way, making him appear a certain way in other people's eyes, and less about her. I don't feel that he had too much care about her. He could have been rather cold toward her at times. Now I'm hearing like exchange, transactional relationship. I feel like their relationship was more like a prostitute John type of energy, or like prostitute trick energy. So yeah, just like he was able to have this trophy, and in exchange, like, she can have favors, money, whatever it is that she wanted. But when it came to the emotional connection, I feel like he left much to be desired in that area, toward her. I don't feel that he was very nurturing or really trying to learn who she is beyond the image of Marilyn Monroe. I don't feel that he cared too much about any story she tried to share with him from her past, or any thoughts that she may have had. And I'm hearing like brothers leftovers. So yeah, he could have also enjoyed getting involved with her after his brother had gotten involved with her. And in his eyes, he viewed it as he stole her from his brother. So that also boosted his ego. It made him feel like the superior brother for once, when usually that title was given to John. I do feel that him and John had conversations about her, and I do feel that him and John might have had like competitive conversations about her. Like, oh, John would say, oh, last weekend me and her did this, and she told me, and such and such, and we did this, and we shared this moment. And it's like John was trying to prove that she loved him more. And I feel that Robert was trying to do the same thing. So when John would talk about the special connection that they would have, Robert would chime in and try to act like they have, just as deep a connection, if not deeper. So I feel like he would exaggerate the bond that they have, and in moments, or at least the intensity of the moments that they shared. I get like mainly he tried to exaggerate the sex between them and make it seem like it was so spiritual, so out of this world, because that's what John would do. Like, he would kind of piggyback off what John would say and try to like exaggerate his story in comparison even more, to look like him and Marilyn had a deeper bond and she couldn't get enough of him, and it's him who he really loved. But again, it's like this was a competitive vibe for him. I don't feel that he had a real emotional connection to her. It was all about ego. It was all about, I feel like everything he did with her was from his mind, not his heart. It was to boost his ego. It was to win over his brother. I feel like those were the things that were driving him. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, he didn't have much of an emotional connection with her. Okay, so we're gonna get into Marilyn's energy in regards to John F. Kennedy and see how she felt about him. Okay, from her perspective, she felt that he had. Okay, hold on. Let me just tune in a bit more here. Okay, I'm hearing all over her like a puppy. So whenever they were in private together, he would be all over her like a puppy. But I also get like he would just be like that in private, because in public you couldn't tell that he could be like that with her. It's like he had one face for the public and one face for her. And the face he showed her was very affectionate, very loving, couldn't stay off of her, was addicted to her. She felt, when she was in his presence, she felt very adored by him. The thing she didn't like was how he was able to switch up whenever it came to them being in public. Whenever she was with him or around him in some way and they were in public together, she hated how he was able to just disconnect from that very affectionate guy he was whenever they'd be in private. I feel like that used to irk her so badly. Like, and she would have this question like, "How are you doing that?" Oh, you know what? I just realized they were both Geminis, weren't they? I feel like they were born like a few days apart, a couple days apart, maybe a few days apart. Oh, so that explains why they were able to see each other. Like they were able to have so much in common. That just hit me just now. Oh, you know what? She may have been into astrology, and I feel like she looked into this. Um, I feel like she may have spoke to an astrologer, or she somehow researched information about astrology and dug into the fact that they shared a sun sign, and she became fascinated by the fact that they had so much in common because of this. I feel like she explained this to him too. I feel like she explained to him, like we're both Geminis, that's why we have so much in common, and you get me, I get you. But yeah, she didn't like the switch up. She didn't like the two-faced thing he had going on. She wished that he can be the way he is in private with her. She wished he could be that way in public with her. She didn't like being his dirty little secret. She hated it, matter of fact. I feel like whenever they would be out in public together, maybe with other people, or she's like, he's with his wife, or, she's with someone or by herself, whenever they would be in the same room together, I feel like they'll be exchanging looks. And more so from his side, he will be giving her these longing looks across the room. And his eyes would be saying, like, I really want to be with you. Like, I wish it was you. And I feel like she would try to ignore his eyes because she knows what he's trying to do. He had a way of manipulating her. He had a way of, whenever she would try to be done with him because she was tired of being his dirty little secret, he would be able to reel her back in with these emotions of his, this soft energy that he had, the soft energy, affectionate, adoring energy he had with her in private. He would be able to lure her back in with that. But then again, it was like a vicious cycle because he'll be giving her all the affection in private. Then again, they'll get in public and it's like he barely knows her. And she didn't want to be that. She felt like she deserved more than that. Yeah, she was really hurt by this. I feel like she was hurt a lot dealing with him because she really wanted more. And I feel like what hurt her more is the fact that she couldn't really talk about the two of them, the relationship they had, the depth of the relationship they had. I'm hearing that she probably tried to share it, like at least share some details with maybe a person or two that she knew, and they would be looking at her like she's crazy. No one believed that their relationship was as deep as it was. To them, she was delusional, but it was actually the truth. The things she would share about how they felt about each other, what they would do, what he told her in private, it was all true. But she wasn't believed to the person or the couple people that she shared it with. And then that's when she realized that she can't talk to anybody about it. And even then, she wasn't sharing like a lot of details about the relationship with these people, only some. And even with the some that she shared, they still found her to be delusional. And so she reached a point that like she realized she couldn't talk about it with anybody, and that made her even more miserable, even more hurt to know that she didn't have a man. Like when she would share these private moments with him, she viewed him as her man. She viewed them to be in a real committed relationship. And it's like that switch up in public would be a hard hitting reminder that he doesn't belong to her. So I feel like she constantly was on that emotional roller coaster with him. I feel like even in some cases she may have dated people or like brought people. I'm hearing paraded people. Some of the people that she probably paraded around on her arm in that day could have been to make him jealous. And I do feel that he got jealous a lot over her. And she knew that. She wanted him to just leave his wife and be with her. Like that was She would have these arguments with him constantly, like, why don't you just leave her? You don't love her. You love me. Like, just leave. Divorce her. And he's like, I can't do that. And she's like, why can't you? Like, you love me, don't you? And he's like, yes. She didn't understand this, like what he was saying about like image and he can't do this. And she's like, it's easy. Like, I can become your wife. We can be together. No one would care. Like, who is she? I feel like she would talk shit about Jackie. She was like, your wife is boring. She's not pretty. I'm prettier than her. Just she can't. I don't know if she used fuck, but I feel like she says something of like the variety of like she can't please you like me. She's not as pretty as me. She's boring. I feel like he shared with her that Jackie is boring to him. And like she would constantly throw that in his face and be like, why would you want to be married to somebody that's so boring? You're not satisfied with her. Just come be with me. Make me your wife. I feel like there were moments, and only like little tiny moments, that he would think about it. Like, maybe I should just go ahead and take a chance on this and see where it goes. But it's like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I'm getting that she would constantly go through like trying to back up from him and then getting sucked back in and then trying to back up and was like, no, I'm not going to get involved with him anymore. I'm done. And then she sucked back in again. It's like that was a constant cycle. She would try to break away from him because she wasn't satisfied with being his side chick. But then, like, the love she had for him, the bond they had, would suck her back in again. So that went on for a while. I do feel that their relationship ended at some point, though. Like, it really went to the point that they had no communication at all. I'm hearing boiling point. So there could have been a boiling point that led to this indefinite ending between them. I'm hearing going back to being friends. He may have offered for them to be just friends when they ended. Like, he may have told her, like, I want us to at least be friends. And she's like, I don't want to be your friend. For her, it was like all or nothing. So if I can't be your wife, if I can't be with you for real, then I'll be nothing. Like, she would rather not talk to him at all than to have this just a friendship with him, because she felt like what they had was too deep and they experienced too much to just go back to being platonic friends. I do feel that, yeah, when they ended, I feel like she was trying to cut it off, like cut off all communication. And I feel like he was constantly trying to reach out to her, constantly trying to chase her to get her to come back. Because I do feel like at some point, while she was constantly doing the back and forth, like, I'm leaving, and then she comes back, leaving and coming back, I do feel like she reached a point that she left for good. And I feel like he chased her. He continued to chase her, but I don't feel that she gave in that last time. Okay, so let's go into her energy toward Robert and how she felt about him. She felt he was sweet. She felt he was really sweet, really nice. It's almost like again, it's like I was picking it up in his energy. She felt like he was a wimp in comparison to his brother, but she found it endearing. She found it sweet because, again, she felt that she had the upper hand in the relationship with him because he sort of worshipped her in a sense, but in a very superficial way. I don't feel that she recognized that no, I'm getting a correction. She knew exactly how he felt about her in relation to just worshiping the character that she was, Marilyn Monroe, and not really being interested in getting to know her. But I feel like she enjoyed that level of admiration from a partner. I'm getting like kiss her ass. Like she was fine with having men who just bent over backwards to kiss her ass just to say they, were with her, had a piece of her. She liked that. And I feel like Robert was that type of man with her. She honestly felt that she was wiser than him in some way. But I feel like this was maybe on a spiritual level. She felt like in some ways she knew more than him. I don't feel that it was like book sense though. I feel that she felt as if maybe she was more spiritually advanced or something. And so there was like a miss in her mind, how she viewed their relationship was sort of a mismatch in that way. But again, it was like she didn't mind dealing with someone who was on a lower level than her in that way, like spiritually, because it allowed her to have more control, which again she didn't have with John. She felt more out of control. So it's like I feel like she would go back and forth between the two, because whenever she would feel like she's too, like things are too out of control with John and she was losing too much control with him, she would go spend some time with Robert to feel in control. So I feel like the dealing with the two of them allowed her to keep a certain balance in her love life. She didn't get too sucked. Like whenever she would feel out of control, she'd go back to Robert and get her control back. And then whenever she would feel like she's built up enough, she'd go back to John and experience the depth. And then once things would, go south over there, she'd go back to Robert and get her adoration. If John decided to withhold affection for any reason because he's mad, she would go get it from Robert. She got bored with Robert, she'd go back to John. So I feel like she enjoyed the back and forth between them. And I do feel that in some ways she may have enjoyed playing them against each other, because I do feel that they were in competition with each other for her. I don't feel that it was a situation that they were like willingly sharing her. Like they were both constantly trying to win her away from the other. And she enjoyed being the prize between the two of them. And she also enjoyed not officially choosing either of them. Like in her heart, she had chosen, but I feel like she always played the game in a way to keep them guessing on how she really felt. Like on some level they knew, like John knew that she loved him more, but I don't feel like she explicitly told him like, I love you and not your brother. I feel like she made sure not to say that to him, to keep him in line in some way, at least as little way as she could. And I do feel that it worked. I do say that like whenever she would be spending time with John, Robert would get extremely upset. And whenever John knew that she was spending time with Robert, he would get extremely jealous and upset. Both of them would get like really fired up and try to, like whenever they knew that she was with the other one, they would kind of sit around mad and just visualizing all the things that she's doing with their brother. And they would be determined to like one up whatever they visualize her doing with the other. But yeah, they were really competitive with each other for her. Okay, I'm hearing, this is weird because I'm in Marilyn's energy in regards to Robert, but I'm hearing when she died, I cried. Okay, I'm getting that was, no, I was about, it's John's energy. When she died, he cried. I'm hearing for days. Secretly. He would go off to himself for days on end and just cry about her. He didn't really, again, I don't know why I'm going with the flow. Forget it. I guess this is not going to be a structured reading because now I'm getting this huge channeling from John. When she died, he cried for days on end. He cried in private, so I don't feel that anyone knew that he was shedding these tears over her. I'm getting like a room, like a huge library that he would go into that I'm seeing a vision of, usually in the nighttime when everyone is, down and asleep. He would go in this library and just well, literally well. I'm hearing soundproof, so maybe he would go in this specific room because it was soundproof. So that way he can wail as loudly as he wants to and no one will ever know. I'm also hearing lock the door, so he would lock the door behind him to make sure no one comes in on him. I'm also hearing that after she died, he didn't really know how he was going to cope in this world without her. I'm also hearing that like she was his best friend. That's how he viewed her. I don't feel that he ever told her she was his best friend though. I feel that that was something he, like how she was trying to always keep him in check by using the relationship with his brother to do that. I feel like he was trying to keep her in check by like withholding some of his feelings from her. So she didn't really know just how important she was to him. Like they would have conversations and they would exchange feelings, but like the extent of like how much she meant to him, how important she was to him, I don't feel that he truly shared the extent of that with her. So she died not knowing that she was such a big part of his life. I'm hearing like she made his world go round. She made him look forward to seeing every day. I'm also hearing garden. I don't know if maybe he had a tree or I don't know, some kind of flower. I feel like he had something planted in a garden in her honor, but he disguised it where no one knew that he had that planted in her honor. He could have said it was for something else or it was like just random, but I feel like he had it done in honor of her, but not where everyone knew it was in honor. It was something that he knew. And I feel like he would visit that garden to just look at what's been planted. It's something it was like I'm getting like a tree. He could have planted a tree in her honor and I feel like he would go visit that tree and just watch it grow and just think about her. I'm hearing sprout. So yeah, when he's seen it sprout up, it's like every time he would come back and see any kind of progress with that tree, it would make him a little happy because it was almost like she was there with him through this tree. All of this was done in secret. No one knew. He had all of this going on inside his head and heart for her. Okay, going back into Marilyn's energy in regards to Robert, she liked him. She enjoyed him, but she didn't feel that deep of a connection to him. Nowhere near as deeply as she felt for John. I feel like they went on dates though. And I feel like he took her to really nice places. And she enjoyed the places that he would pick out for the dates. It would be like if he took her to a restaurant, I feel like he had like a secret like VIP section that was just for them, like they'll come in through like the back entrance or something when no one will see them. So they would have dates like that, like really secret exclusive dates. Like maybe he would shut down a restaurant or they'll come in, through another door and sit in the section where no one sees them. But whatever he was doing, they were very clandestine dates, but nonetheless they were dates, and she loved his taste. He had really great taste in her opinion. I'm hearing very refined. Okay, I'm getting like, okay, now this is Robert's energy in regards to her. I feel that when she died, he wasn't as emotional as John, but I do feel that he had this desire to, like, I won't even say a desire. He kind of felt like, I'll see you in the next lifetime. It was sort of matter of fact. Like he said, I'll see you in the next lifetime. That was his thoughts. Like he was sad, but again, not as deeply uh distraught as John. But he was sad. And it's like he said, we'll see each other again. He had some kind of certainty that they were going to incarnate in a future life together and maybe try again. Or this could just be like him saying, like, I'll see you on the other side. Like, they'll meet up whenever he dies or something like that. Yeah, so that's what I got for this reading. Let me see if I get any more messages to like wrap everything up. Okay, so in conclusion, John was in love with her, but his image meant more to him. So he made sure that remained intact, and he sacrificed his relationship with Marilyn to ensure that. Robert was in love with the image that she was. He enjoyed the clout that he was able to gain from being sexually involved with her. Him and his brother fought like cats and dogs, not literally, like not physically, but I feel like they would have like this kind of shady battle with each other over her. John felt that without a doubt that he had the deeper connection with her, and he was right. Robert knew that his connection with her was not as deep, but he would put on to his brother that it was for competition's sake. I don't even think that he truly longed to have that deep of a connection to her. He didn't really care to, but it's like he just wanted to be able to one up his brother, and it made him upset that he wasn't able to, because he knew it deep down in his heart that what him and Marilyn had could not compare to what her and John had. Marilyn loved John and she wanted to be his wife. That was like a very deep desire for her to marry this man, to marry John. And it broke her heart that she wasn't able to live out that dream with him. She wanted children with him, the whole nine. Her and John were like almost like kids together. Like they just had this very playful relationship. They had a lot of fun with each other. Even their conversations on the phone, I feel like at times they would talk about very silly kitty stuff that maybe they don't get to talk about much with other people. They were able to really like tap into the inner child of each other. I'm getting nails, like fingernails. There could have been an instance, at least once, where he painted her toenails, like on like I'm getting like a weekend getaway. He could have gone away with her for weekends, and I feel like at least one of those times he could have, like, they were just chilling in a room together and he painted her toenails. He did little things that I don't feel like he had ever done for any other woman. She brought out a side of him that he never showed to anyone, that maybe he even forgot existed. He had like a real soft spot for her. And whenever they were together in private, like there was no limit to like the way he would express his love. again, that painting the toenails could have been one of those very soft, affectionate moments that she loved, that she experienced with him. I'm seeing an image of him lying on his back and her on top of him. They're naked, and he's just like gripping her uh, around her waist, and he's like looking up at her and just. I'm hearing him say like, "Do you know how beautiful you are to me?" He always complimented her beauty. I feel like she may have been insecure and didn't really view herself to be as beautiful as maybe other people perceived her to be. And I feel like he always reassured her, really, he was always that self esteem booster to like reassure her that she was indeed one of the most beautiful women he had ever seen. I'm getting like a lot of like hugging her from behind, like just like bear hugging her. A lot of naked moments. Like I'm seeing a moment where they are in the bathroom. Well, yeah, they're in the bathroom. She's brushing her teeth. Well, she's in there first brushing her teeth, and he just comes behind her and starts bear hugging her, and they're naked. And he's just like kissing all along her neck, like quick little pecks along her neck and her shoulders, and she just like, stop. I do feel that at some point, yeah, if I recall correctly, I think she called Jackie up and told her that John was going to marry her. And I don't feel like this conversation was born out of thin air or delusions. I feel like one time, like their fantasies together may have gotten away, like gotten out of hand, and he forgot to like bring it back to reality. And he may have just kind of left. They could have ended their time together, kind of saying like, "Oh, we're gonna get married. We're gonna be happy." But I feel like every other time they had that conversation, he was able to like root it back in reality and say, okay, but that's fantasy. We know the truth. The reality is we can't be together in that way. We can't do that. But I feel like this one particular time, like they ended their time together on that note of like, we're getting married, we're gonna have a family. I feel like when that moment happened, when she reached out to Jackie, it was like a oh shit moment for him. I do feel like he confronted her about it, Marilyn, about it, and said like, you can't do that. It's my wife. I don't feel like he was cruel or he was harsh with her. I feel like he was just pretty matter. I feel like he tried to make her understand. Like I'm just getting like a very soft tone, like a very gentle tone with her, but gentle and firm at the same time. I'm hearing him say, "You gotta promise me you never do that again," and she agreed. I'm hearing in her lifetime there are two men that she ever really loved. John was one of them. The other I'm hearing was Joe. She couldn't say who she loved more of the two because their love was very different. The love she felt for each of them were very different from each other. She loved them both for very different reasons. They were the two men that she absolutely could not live without. And I know this is a John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy reading, but I'm not getting Robert energy too much because, again, it was a very superficial relationship. Of the two men, of John and Joe DiMaggio, that is. Between John F. Kennedy and Joe DiMaggio, she didn't know who she loved more because she loved him for very different reasons and very different ways. But they were the two men that she could absolutely not, like, she could not imagine her life without. She could not imagine going through life and never have met them, never have gotten involved with them. She feels like they made her life worthwhile. The love she shared with them, the relationship she had with them, even through the painful moments, she felt like it was still love that was worth it. A love that she wouldn't take back. I'm getting that she feels like if it was possible, she would have married them both. She did marry Joe, but I'm getting like she would have made them both her husband at the same time if it was possible for her to do that. Because she felt like the two of them would have made like it's like the two of them together makes the perfect man, like made the perfect man in her eyes. So it's like, okay, I wouldn't need anybody else if I had the two of them. I'm hearing she liked other men. She enjoyed other men. But those two set her soul on fire. Again, in different ways for different reasons. She loved how protective Joe was. She loved how affectionate John was. And how he was so much like her. I'm also hearing that she had a lot in common with Joe too, that nobody knew. So she had a lot of commonalities with them both, and that was the strong attraction toward both of them. But I do feel that with John, he brought out the kid in her, and she loved that. John made her feel like the well-protected child that she never was able to be when she was actually a child. So Joe was more like a father figure, and John was more like a playmate, like a sibling, a peer. Like, they were the same. They had the same kind of childish ways in a sense, and Joe was more serious and more of a protector, like a father. And that's why she loved them both, because they like appealed to the two sides of her that needed the most understanding. I'm hearing that if she had a chance to do it all over again, it's like a question of like it's like somebody asking her. I'm picking up like if you had a chance to do it all again, would you get involved with John, with JFK just the same? And she's like, yes, I will. Yes, I would. Like if even if nothing changes and he was still married, they couldn't really be together, all that stuff, she would still do it again. Yes, it was painful, but she feels like the moments they shared was still worth it. It gave her, and the moments they were together, it was pure bliss. It was joy that she had been missing in other parts of her life. Okay, I think I'm done. I think that's all those are all the messages I'm getting about this reading. Let me just make sure. Okay, one last message I'm getting is that she would absolutely love to explore a full relationship with John, with JFK, in another lifetime. Like if they, it's like I'm getting that this could have been something that a thought that she had before she passed, like her thinking like if reincarnation is a real thing, like she would absolutely like to be reincarnated with him again and get to fully explore the relationship in a way that they weren't able to in that lifetime. I'm hearing she got to experience Joe, but she never really got to experience John in the fullest extent again because they had a secret affair and she couldn't really be public with him the way she was with Joe. So I feel like that's something that she really, like, that was a wish of hers. She's like, okay, if reincarnation is real, I would want to experience a real relationship with John in another lifetime. A relationship that can be public, that we don't have to hide, that we can both be proud of. I feel like she wrote this somewhere. I feel like she had like a diary or something, and she expressed. I'm seeing the page being ripped out. I feel like she has some diary entries about this, about John in her diary. And I'm seeing someone like going through and ripping the pages out, and I'm not seeing it to be her hand. So I don't feel like these entries would ever see the light of day because they were destroyed after she died to make sure that they never seen the light of day. But I feel that if they were still in there, a lot of their relationship, a lot about her and JFK's relationship would have been revealed, like this extent of it, the depth of it. But I feel that it was hidden to protect his image. The evidence of how deep their relationship was, how long they had known each other, all the things they had done, the way they felt about each other, that evidence was destroyed. I'm hearing she hated that it was, because she wanted people to know that she wasn't just a whore to him. She wanted people to know that they really loved each other. She feels like she needs to be redeemed in some way. I'm getting this energy of like, yeah, she feels like she needs to be redeemed through that relationship. She has resolve with other relationships she had and other parts of her life, but it's like some unfinished business with John because of like how she's perceived in relation to him. She's not perceived to be anything serious to him, to really mean anything to him, and that really hurt her. And she wants people to know the truth, but she realizes that nobody ever will, because any evidence of what truly was, like the moments they shared was just between the two of them, and any evidence she left behind of it. I'm also getting pictures. They could have had pictures together. All of that was destroyed, and so no one will ever know what really went on between them. How real it was. So I feel like she wants to, I don't know if maybe get redemption in another lifetime with him. It's like she wants to be able to make up, like she wants the truth somehow to get out there about her not being a common whore to him. I keep hearing that, like she's mad about being viewed as just a whore to him, because she's like, he loved me. I wasn't just a whore. I wasn't just someone that he was having sex with like some bimbo. He was my friend. He was my lover. I'm also hearing he was my husband. So that could have been something they called each other in private, like husband and wife. Because again, they would have these, go on these fantasy trips about their life in an alternate reality. And so I feel like in private, he'd be like, hey, my wife. And she's like, hey, my husband. Things of that nature. In her heart, she felt like he was a husband to her. Although he wasn't officially one of her husbands, I'm hearing she viewed him to be her fourth husband. Although she met him before a couple of her husbands, I feel that like by the time the relationship evolved into like its final form, that's when they started to call each other husband and wife, and it would have been after her last marriage. So yeah, she considers him to be her fourth husband, like her unofficial fourth husband. It's like her soul is it can't really rest until something in relation to his soul is resolved. It's like they have unfinished business. It is possible that they have reincarnated together, or they're going to experience the relationship in a way that they were not able to in the past. It's like her soul won't rest until they explore this to redeem herself from that lifetime in a way she's perceived in that lifetime. Like, even if no one knows, the full truth about that lifetime, it's like just to experience it in another lifetime, the relationship with him in another lifetime, and do it the right way and it be known, it would just give her soul satisfaction. So she wants to be redeemed. She wants to experience a relationship with him. She wants to be married to him for real in the next lifetime. I'm also hearing he wants the same. So, yeah, it is very possible that they are going to reincarnate again, or they have, and these two will marry in their incarnation. And I feel that some way, somehow, the identity of who they were in a past life is gonna come out. Like, I feel like somehow it may not be like widespread where everyone accepts it to be fact, but I feel like somehow who that these two were in a past life, being JFK and Marilyn Monroe, is gonna come out when these two people connect in whatever, in the lifetime they do incarnate, if they're not already together. I feel like it's going to be known somehow that this is Marilyn Monroe and JFK all over again, but not through a secret affair this time. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. I did not expect to get all of that. Very interesting reading. Again, okay, I'm just coming down, guys. Just bear with me. Okay, there's a lot of channeling. I didn't expect to get all of that. Whew, okay. Okay, so again, if you all have any requests for this series, the Taboo Love Chronicles, go ahead and let me know in the comments what you would like, who you like me to cover. It could be historical figures, old Hollywood, present day stars, whatever. Just any, taboo relationships that aren't uh, scandals, relationships that are scandals, not the relationships that are known and publicly accepted and within the norm. I know I did that on the last channel, but I want to switch it up. I just feel like these are juicier. So I just want to dig into that. But yeah, again, if you want to check out your monthly zodiac readings or your general forecast for the rest of the year, your love forecast, or your love forecast for the rest of the year, you can check out the Vimeo links below in the description box to view those. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, the link to that information is below as well. Follow me on Instagram at Serene Dream Things for daily guidance, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of these updates. Okay, so I'll be back with more readings, lovelies. Bye.